I'm supposed to like reading, right? I did make brownies, and then I ate them, a lot of them. Don't ask me how my mind works. Free will is an illusion.
I'll see you after the function.
Hi, I'm Josh and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you my stay-at-home reading rush experience in a vlog. I put a lot of work into this vlog and I'm actually very proud of how it's turning out. It was a really fun and great experience. I read 4 books, which you'll see. I had a lot of fun doing it, a lot of fun talking about the books. There were a few parts where I had the idea to vlog my experience. I did not think to do an introduction for certain segments, which is why you're going to be seeing me, future editing Josh, who can turn back time, like Cher, tell you what's going on. Okay? Let's get going. Okay, it is Thursday morning. We've started. I'm trying to wake up and doing the dishes while I continue to listen to Conquest of Happiness. I had a strong start. It's getting very esoteric. I'm hoping it doesn't go over my head. Also, I feel like I look like shit, especially my hair. I tried wetting it, but it's not doing anything. I shaved it a couple weeks ago, and I feel like its intermediate stage is not very good. I guess I'll have to just not go out for a while. Okay, it's 5 o'clock. I'm gonna stop trying to work. Keyword there is try. I think I have a book outlet package that just came in, but I'm gonna go check. Nope, I am insane. Right now I'm on book outlet and I'm trying to resist the urge here. I made this cart several days ago and I've resisted placing this order. 2 left in stock for this one book. I need it. What am I gonna do if I don't get this one book? Everything in my life is dependent on this one book. Maybe. I mean, not really at all. I've got about an hour and a half or so left on the Conquest of Happiness. I'm enjoying it. Right now, I don't see it being more than a 4-star. It's not like revolutionizing my life. My chest hurts. My friend's telling me it's just anxiety, but it still has me very concerned because it's at the very least indicating a higher level of stress. I can at least wait to book this book outlet post. Until tomorrow, Josh, you can do this. I guess I should be reading. I'm supposed to like reading, right? Pretty sure I'm supposed to like it. Okay, I am getting very disillusioned, very turned off by this book. It has always been very esoteric, in a lot of ways dated, but now we're getting to certain parts which I feel like really problematic. There's a subject in here on family. He's talking about having children, and at one point he says, very few men and women will have children from a sense of public duty, even if it were far clearer than it is that any such public duty exists. When men and women have children, they do either so because they believe that children will add to their happiness or because they do not know how to prevent them. The latter reason still operates very powerfully, but it is steadily diminishing in potency, and nothing that either the state or the churches can do will prevent this diminishment from continuing. It is necessary, therefore, if the white races are to survive, that parenthood should again become capable of yielding happiness to parents. First off, what the hell does that even mean? Second off, it suggests that the people who don't know how to stop having kids are people of color, which is fucking racist. And also this whole idea that family being needed for happiness is just so antiquated. Like a lot of these ideas that he's talking about here, the first half was about unhappiness, and then we got into happiness, how to be happy. And while I didn't utterly hate the first half, I said I was going to be thinking about giving it a 4, but even without the second half, I'm thinking maybe it isn't really worth that, because after 150 pages he didn't say much of anything of worth. He just kept saying some obvious stuff and in ways that just were hard to understand. It seems kind of very pretentious writing, which is sad because he has a lot of other books that I'll read, even though I hated this one, but the content in here is not very good. I'm close to the end, so I'm not going to DNF it, but when one considers human nature apart from the circumstances of the present day, it is clear, I think, that parenthood is psychologically capable of providing the greatest and most enduring happiness that life has to offer. This, no doubt, is more true of women than for men. See, there's also this other commentary just about the place of women, the ability of women to be a mother versus a father, which is definitely said in a way that's meant to compliment women, but in a way, and honestly, it just demeans them. It is so disappointing because this is a philosopher who's known for secular. He's a fantastic secular philosopher. This is not very good in a lot of ways, very dated. I'm gonna keep going. So while I listen to this, I am doing a lot of cleaning and also ordering some food. So what you're about to see real quick is just a before and after picture. And after that, I had a burrito, a delicious, delicious sweet potato burrito. God, that was good. Okay, it's Friday. I'm 70% through the Hazelwood. I am still loving this book. I don't know if it's a 5-star yet. I think it's going to depend on the ending, but I'll be surprised if this isn't at least a 4-star. There's been so many negative reviews about this book, and I really don't understand.
I don't understand. I don't understand, bitch. I don't understand. I don't understand, bitch.
It's my cup of tea. It's like fantasy mixed with reality. God, it's hot. We have a portal fantasy here. It's like very, I wouldn't say it's not surreal, but like it's really breaking the fourth wall in the sense that like it's very much aware of the fact that it's like a commentary on fairy tales, which I really like. It works really well for me, and I think I already mentioned how it reminded me of the 10th Kingdom, and it still very much does that. How we have the mixing of the two worlds from one to the other. Everyone seems to be connected in a unique way. Everyone has their own story. I'm intrigued by how it's going to end. It seems to be going in directions that are darker than I thought it would. I'm still not convinced that it isn't going to retrofit or like backtrack and fix some of the really bad things that have happened, because it feels like that kind of book where it sort of ends a little too happy. But you know, if it ends really dark, I'll also be really happy. Like that probably would be a 5-star for me if it ends that way. It might be in a bit of a bittersweet ending, I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it. Got about an hour and a half left of this at the speed that I'm listening to. It's almost 8 and I'm meeting with some friends on Zoom for a hangout, and after that I'm probably going to edit some video. But right after this I have just Cosmos and I Never Meant to Start a Murder Cult. And with 2 days left, both on the weekend, where I don't plan on working on anything else besides video, I think I should have time to read a reread, which means I'm probably going to try and reread the game, Middlegame. So that's exciting. I'm pretty confident that's going to happen. It's been snowing today. I don't think I'm going to go biking tonight, but I did make brownies, and then I ate them, a lot of them. This is just a bad time. Look at me smiling. It's what counts as a smile too. I'm just so happy. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. I was really hesitant coming to this. I can't stress just how unsure I was, or not even unsure. I felt like I would not love this book. Like I got it because it was cheap on Book Outlet. It's definitely why that's just worked really well for me. The story works for me. The writing works for me. It all just comes together really well, perfectly for me. And I'm just so happy that I found another YA author that suits me. So this is just great. It's fantastic. What I should say is that in my TBR video, I said I thought this was a retelling of the Hansel and Gretel, and it's not. It's not that. I'm not sure why I thought that. I think it was because I saw this cover and it almost looks like a wood, which there is a wood. It's called Hazelwood. That's so stupid. And there's a house, so I thought that was like the witch's house. And for some reason I thought this would be like 2 kids going to see the witch or something like that, and it's not that at all. I'm really enjoying it. It's just my cup of tea. I'm so happy. I could keep talking this all day, but I feel like I'm just repeating the same thing. Yeah, it's just really good. I ate too much. I can't feel like my stomach's just collapsing in on my lungs. It's Saturday, and now it's time for me to read I Never Meant to Start a Murder Cult and Other Stories. Here's a quick clip of that experience. So it is about 8 o'clock. No, 7:40. It's almost 8 o'clock, and it's still pretty bright outside. Days are getting longer. I am excited about that. I finished Never Meant to Start a Murder Cult by Darrell Grizzle. I really enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun. If I had to give it a number, or even if I don't, I'm still going to, 3 out of 5 stars. There are some caveats here. I think that when it comes to his ideas and the general arc of the story, the plots, it's just a lot of fun and really interesting, and I actually liked most of the stories in here. I thought they were really creative and would make for a great premise of a full-length book, or maybe even a movie. I guess it was just that a lot of the stories didn't feel just that fleshed out. They were so tantalizing, and I kind of wanted a bit more. I feel weird critiquing a friend and also someone who is clearly more adept at writing than I am. It's just like the ideas themselves, I thought they were really cool. My favorite one, I think, was Moonlight Sonata with Scissors. I thought that was just so much fun. Like, all these were fun, but that one in particular was just a lot of fun. If I had to give that one a rating, I'd probably get 5 out of 5 just because of how much I had fun with it alone. That said, I feel like it could have been so much more fleshed out. Like, there's so much mythology there that I would have loved to explore. And it's not even that it's short stories. Like, I'm fine with short stories. I guess it's just there's more that could be here. At 3 out of 5 stars, I feel like it's a good rating. I don't have that many critiques beyond the fact that I would have liked just, I guess, a bit more with the stories. Most importantly, just the concepts. So much fun. I think it's worth reading for that alone. If you see my rating of this on Goodreads, I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 stars just to support him as an author. I'll also make a note if there are people who actually read it that it's a 3 out of 5. I'm glad I liked it. I know I didn't love it. I would say that this is still a solid book, and I solidly enjoyed it. I would recommend it to anyone who just wants some light, fun horror fiction, especially if you know me and you think we have similar, I guess, supernatural-esque preferences, which I know a lot of people don't, and I think that is very prevalent here, and I really liked it. It took a while to read it. I tried reading it physically at first, and I got like an hour or so in. It was going so slow. Granted, I was getting tired because I had barely any sleep last night, so I took a nap for a bit there. Then I realized, you know what, I should just get this on my Kindle and have my Kindle read it to me while I finish it on here. So that made it a lot quicker. I honestly prefer that. I like being able to hold the physical book while having it still read to me on the Kindle. I do miss sort of the act of just sitting there and reading, but at the same time I want to read more, and it's just I get so in my head when I try to read because I'm all too aware of how slow I am. But you know, this isn't a soapbox. This is a reading vlog for the stay-at-home reading rush. And on that note, I'm going to start listening to my audiobook, finish the Hazelwood, and I think I'm going to try and get through a good bit of Middlegame tonight. I need to check the length of this and the length of Cosmos to make sure that it's still viable. It's later than I thought it would be when I finish this, but I still try and finish both of them. Tomorrow I'll definitely focus on Cosmos just because that's the priority over this. Yeah, I'm going to go for a bike ride tonight. It's in the 40s, it's been sunny, it's not snowing or raining anymore, which is nice. Okay, it is Sunday, 1 p.m. I am behind now, I'm officially behind. I did not go biking last night. It was much worse. I stayed up, watched 2 different movies, edited captions on a couple of my videos for whatever reason, and so I ended up going to bed this morning like at 6 a.m. I woke up like at 12, wallowing in bed, thinking to myself, I don't have time to read the books that I want to read now, and I have to choose. And I started panicking, and so I was going to lay in bed and not read anything. I'm in this position where it's 1 p.m. That gives us 9 hours. That's not right at all. 11 hours. And this will take nearly 8 hours to read. And then I've already started Middlegame by Sean McGuire, which doesn't technically meet any of the challenges, unless you count it as something that makes me smile, or maybe I want to go to the impossible city. That took longer than it should have. The thing is that I have this strong urge to read Middlegame, but then I won't have time to read Cosmos, and I feel like I'm less likely to pick it up after the TBR has ended, and I really want to read it, especially since it's been on my TBR for so long. You know what? It's because free will is an illusion. I could use a quantum number generator. That's what I'll do. So if you don't know, quantum number generator, the concept is simple. It uses quantum measurements to basically randomly choose something. The reason this is exciting to me and a lot of people, or at least for me, is that there's a realm of thought around quantum mechanics called the Everett's mini world interpretation, where every possible measurement that can happen in quantum mechanics does happen. So when we make decisions based on that, then begin to produce different versions of yourself. Maybe you've read Dark Matter, where you have multiverse theory. It's similar to that. For this, I could say 1, I read Sean Maguire, 0, I don't. But because I really want to read Cosmos, I'm afraid I won't read it tomorrow if I make this decision. I'm going to make it like this. The first 2 numbers, because he gives like a whole bunch of them, have to be 0 zeros. And it's just so convoluted. This is my thinking when it comes to a lot of things, reading included. If there's 2 zeros, I will read Sean Maguire. Otherwise, if it's a 1-1 or a 1-0 or 0-1, which means 3 out of the 4 possible worlds that will come into existence given this measurement, I'm going to read Cosmos. Are we going to be in the one where I get to read Sean Maguire's Middlegame? We don't know. It's impossible to tell. One of versions of us will get to know. 3 of you will not. What does that mean? How many subscribers or viewers am I going to lose in this moment because of how absurd this is? Oh, just like that, we are in the universe where I do not read Sean Maguire. I am, at least not today. I mean, I've read it before. I should have said that already. Okay, so it's been decided. I have to read Cosmos first. But now you can think of it as there are 2 unique versions of me. One will read Sean Maguire first, and one that reads Cosmos first. All that matters is that I go down that path for at least for a little bit, so that there is some type of divergence in these 2 different worlds, assuming that the theory is true. But Sean Maguire?
I'll see you after the function.
Carl Sagan's Cosmos is a book, I believe, adapted from the TV show, which is really good. I mean, it's came out in 1980 or so, and it was part of the reason that I joined planetary science in the first place. I watched that when I was in engineering program in my undergrad, and I ended up finishing that program. But it was that discussion, along with the discussion of Neil deGrasse Tyson in the newest Cosmos in 2014, that really motivated me to consider, is engineering really what I want to do with my life? And the answer was no. I wanted to study space. I wanted to study planetary science, but it definitely was greatly influenced by Carl Sagan, and for that I'm immensely grateful. And it's one reason why I really want to read this, or have wanted to read this for the longest time. So I have the audiobook, which has actually been semi-recently released, with a reading by LeVar Burton, so that is really exciting. From reading Rainbow fame and also Star Trek. Carl Sagan has a lot of fantastic books. A Human Haunted World. It's a book about skepticism in science, which I've talked about before. Contact, which I talked about in my last reading blog. This book, which is partially narrated by him, by Blue Dot. It is such a beautiful book. And that book is also about space and planetary science and our position, our place in the cosmos. It was one of the most beautiful books I've ever read. I have to go back in today. I ate way too much last night. I ordered 2 breadsticks. Don't tell anybody I said that. But it's okay. NPR said that quarantine calories don't count. Then it doesn't matter, right? I gotta stop procrastinating this book. So right now I'm cooking and cleaning, making some sweet potato hash browns. I'm really loving this book. I'm so happy I'm reading it. If you don't know what this book is about somehow, it is basically an overview of everything we know about the cosmos, beginning in part with what we know about the science on Earth, like the science of biology and our history, because it's really about tying us to the cosmos itself. And in that way, it's a very spiritual journey. Carl Sagan, in conjunction with his wife, Andrian, have the most beautiful and mesmerizing story, and I love it. It's one reason why I love Cosmos. And in this book, we're seeing that again, but because it's a book, they're able to dive in a bit deeper, and it's just so immersive. Right now, we're learning about the history of science on Earth, stuff I already know, but it's just so interesting and so immersive. Like, I used to listen to Harry Potter in high school over and over again in the background, and I got to the point where I knew the story so well that I used to imagine myself in my head going into the story at a certain part earlier in the story when things happen, to tell them what's going to happen, tell them how to find the Horcruxes, how to change everything. Like, basically design fan fiction in my head. And now I'm listening to this, and I'm finding myself again having to pause as my mind wonders about what would it be like to go back there, interact with these scientists, and try and communicate to them everything we know now, try and teach them what we know. And it's just so, I think part of it's the nerdy side of me as a scientist wanting to know this, but the other part is just the storytelling here, and the ability of Carl Sagan and his wife Andrian to tell this story in such a way that is just so immersive. I'm also realizing that this book could have been the only book I read, and it would have met every single classification. Let's take a look at the cover here. We have here, there's artistic representation of a cluster of galaxies. This is the cosmos. Where do I want to go? I already said I want to go to the cosmos, so that's one. In these galaxies themselves though, imagine how many different life forms might exist within these galaxies. Basically, these galaxies may home an infinite number of different life forms. So in that sense, these are all little homes right here on the cover. And then it makes me smile. I mean, look at this video, I'm smiling. Is that all of them? A book to make you smile, a book with a house on the cover, place you want to go. Oh, a book in the same room. Oh shit, it doesn't classify that. I'm moving from room to room while I listen. Well, other than that. So after doing some reading, I decided to go grocery shopping because I was running out of food. It's just after 8, I'm about to go for a bike ride. Nice little cap as it starts to get colder. I can always take it off. Look how gorgeous I look now. I'm still really enjoying it. What I will say is part of me dislikes rushing through it like this. It's one of those books where I feel like I should have taken my time. I'd rather finish it now than move on to the other book. Criticize me if you like. I know it's completely against my own enjoyment, so why am I doing this? And I don't ask me how my mind works. Free will is an illusion. The question now though is, am I going to go north or am I going to go east? I'll probably end up doing both. The question is which one I do first. I think what we're going to do here is another quantum number generator. Oh, I go east. My journey begins now. It's 9:50. I've about 40 minutes left on the book. I've really enjoyed listening to it. It took me a minute to get in the mindset. I think it was just that I've been so fixated on rereading the other book, and I'm glad that I'm finally reading this because it's so beautifully told. I was debating going home now, but I think I might go down another path. The problem was I was feeling cold. Kind of wanted to go home. So I asked the quantum number generator, and it told me I have to go not home. Hopefully I don't get too much colder. Praise be the quantum number generator. Okay, I finished Cosmos by Carl Sagan. I really loved this book. This book is over like 40 years old now, yet it is still probably the best broad overview of cosmology and astronomy that I've read. Despite being 40 years old, so much of the science in here is still so reliable. That which is wrong is mostly just incomplete. And then there's the parts of history that he just ties in so effortlessly. Like really works really well. It's told so beautifully in a way that it's just so easy to read. Granted, it's just my field of study. I mean, I study the planets, but just because I'm familiar with the subject doesn't mean I'm not capable of recognizing that it's probably pretty good for a wider breadth of audience. If anything, that makes me more capable of making that decision, I think. And for that reason, of course, this gets 5 out of 5 stars. I have no doubt. This is going to be probably a favorite of all time. LeVar Burton narrating this was just fantastic. His voice, it's so weird. Some of the iconic quotes from this show are being phrased by LeVar Burton, which is just different. It was great. It really was a great experience. I could see myself rereading that book and definitely rewatching the series. But honestly, I feel like the book does a better job at reviewing everything. It's able to go deeper, but it still has the basic framework and a lot of the iconic material in the TV show in the book. So let's just review what I've read. The first thing I read during this vlog was The Conquest of Happiness by Bertrand Russell. 2 out of 5 stars. Did not like this book. It was supposed to make me smile. It did not. Overall, there's just so many antiquated, sexist, and racist ideas in here that it's just really very outdated. I think it was best said by the introduction of Daniel Dennett, where he said calls this more of a time capsule than a work to really be adhered to. And I didn't realize that going in when I first picked this book that was going to be the case. Like, I am pretty sure I even read the preface before I decided to pick this for this, but it didn't occur to me because he says in here like it could possibly be offensive, and I didn't think much of it. But I feel like it's also just a nice way of putting racist and sexist without actually having to say it, which I feel like it's kind of a cop-out. Luckily, every other book I read made me smile, so fuck that book, right? The next one I read was not that. It was The Hazelwood by Miss Albert. In this book, oh my god, I loved it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. This book was just such a pleasant surprise. There's a lot of things going against this book coming in. One, a lot of negative reviews about it, which meant it wasn't very popular, which didn't seem to bode well, as I already have a hit or miss experience with YA, and that's number 2, I guess, that I don't always love YA. And part of the reason I bought this was because I thought it was a Hansel and Gretel retelling. I wanted a retelling, and also the cover was gorgeous, and of course it was on Book Outlet and cheap, and I've had a bit of a problem on Book Outlet. Luckily, I can justify that because it gets my better judgment of reading this. I loved it. I mean, the story was so good. I loved it. The writing was fantastic. The ideas were great. Even if parts of it I felt like kind of predictable, I still really enjoyed it. I look forward to reading the next one. The Scribd audiobook, it's on Scribd. At the end of it, you have a extra short story from one of the side characters' views that isn't in this book. So check that out if you've read this and you want to read that. The next one I read was I Never Meant to Start a Murder Cult, and the stories by Darrell Z. Grizzle. And this one was a thoroughly enjoyable ride. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Each story had a really unique and creative and fun idea, something that I think would make for a great horror film. Overall, though, I didn't feel like they were very well fleshed out. I saw so much potential there, but overall, I feel like there was just something missing. I don't know how else to put it. I still recommend this because I want to support him, but also because, at least for me, it had the type of supernatural horror that I appreciate. So it's still an enjoyable ride, even if it's not the best book I've ever read. This is the first book I've ever had to review of someone that I know, let alone someone who I believe watches my channel on occasion. And so it's weird trying to talk about it because I don't want to say it's shit. It's not shit. But I feel like anything negative that I say is basically saying it's shit, and that seems, first off, not true. Second off, just like, oh god, I don't think I think that, because I don't. Cosmos was the last book by Carl Sagan, and I loved it. 5 out of 5. Now I am rereading Sean McGuire's Middlegame, and I'm definitely loving it more than the first time around. I'm not going to finish this in time to keep it inside of this thingamajig, but I still want to talk about it because I'm here. When I first read this, it was at the recommendation of Books on Lala, and I was really hesitant going in. I was worried that I wouldn't like it because I was still trying out a lot of her recommendations, and it seemed like something I would love, and I feel like I approached it with too high expectations, almost as if I was expecting it to fail. In the end, I thoroughly enjoyed it the first time around, and then it's just stuck with me so much since then that I'm realizing that I think I enjoyed it more than I thought I did. And if I did, there were parts I didn't enjoy, probably because I wasn't letting myself. And I feel like that is true because now I'm really just connecting with it so much more. I'm loving it. There was one flaw with the first one, which was that the villain seemed sort of one-dimensional. And rereading this, there's a big reason for that. I realize that now, and I'm like, what the hell's wrong with me? Not to make that connection, that why it's like that. And it's like, all makes sense now. Like even this premise, like it makes sense that our villain would be this way. It's basically a flawless book. So old Josh was just fucked in the head. So yeah, I'm just really excited to be reading this. I may end up calling this one of my all-time favorites. I mean, it is one of my all-time favorites. What I'm trying to think is, last year, the beginning of this year, I reworked my top 10 favorites of all time, and I want to think about that. I want to continue thinking about, are these old books that I've read, are they really as great as I remember? Because most of them are books I haven't read in a long time, and are any of the new ones worth taking over? And that's something I want to think about this year. What deserves to be literally all time, right? I feel like this one has that potential. Sean McGuire, I feel like she's someone I need to just read literally everything of. I've been hesitant to read some of our other ones, which have been like urban fantasy, serial type books, but I feel like I would still like them. It's just her style is so weird. It's so fantastic. It's just so good. It's really good. Sean McGuire is fantastic. I feel like it's safe for me to say that she is one of my favorite authors now. that concludes this stay-at-home reading rush vlog. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I really enjoyed doing it, or being a part of it rather, and I'm really grateful to the creators of the readathon to encourage us to do this. I read some really great books that I might not have read otherwise, or at least not anytime soon. And now I'm rereading an amazing book. So thanks for that. Thank you so much. And until next time, stay safe and bye.